Okay, so very good evening, all of you, in today's strategy session. So, what is the objective? Today's objective is to what should be the perfect strategy? एक common question हमेशा students का रहता है that what should be the perfect strategy if I want to crack UPSC, right? So naturally, this is not new which I'm telling you. I will re-emphasize the same thing जो मैंने पहले भी कहा है आप लोगों से. UPSC is about discipline, perseverance. UPSC is not examination जो कि आप you think of doing it one day. It is like a एक कछुए, हिंदी में कहावत है कछुए की चाल से आपको रोज चलना है. You have to act like a tortoise, right? You have to make a effort every day, and that is how the journey sustains, right? So let's start with the quote of the day. So we all adulate a very famous ex-president, missile man of India. The strength to the top is climbing, right? If you want to climb, you need strength, whether you want to go to the top of Mount Everest or you're in life. So you need to know what is the strength. हमारा strength life का कहाँ से आएगा? The strength will come from the effort that we are making. But effort is key in the process of growth. So naturally, the quote is just to give you an idea that the people who have done well in their life, they must have put an effort. And remember, today the UPSC prelims का result आया है. A lot of people have done well. They will go and give mains examination. एक कॉमन सेइंग होती है दैट वेल बिगन इज हाफ डन, यानी कोई चीज आपने अच्छी शुरुआत करी तो इट इज हाफ डन. सो यू हैव टू स्टार्ट ऑन अ गुड नोट, एंड दैट इज द ऑब्जेक्टिव. आज का ऑब्जेक्टिव है टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट what we should do as an aspirant and how we should take it forward. So these are the areas which I'll be discussing. First is of course the syllabus, which I'm sure a lot of you must be knowing. Syllabus, there are pillars of preparation जो मैंने पहले भी अपने strategy वीडियो में डिस्कस किया है. Then macro strategy, choosing optional, topper strategy, ये मैंने नया ऐड किया इस बार. I have added all India rank 1 once topper strategy. And अगर आप स्टडी देखोगे तो हम वही बात कर रहे हैं जो हम पिछले कई टाइम से कर चुके हैं. दैट मीन्स टॉपर आप ही लोगों में से है. वन ऑफ यू विल बिकम टॉपर, बट यू नीड टू नो व्हाट आर द स्ट्रेंथ्स ऑफ द टॉपर. और टॉपर ने ऐसा क्या यूनिक किया है विच यू शुड बी फॉलोइंग इफ यू वांट टू क्रैक द एग्जामिनेशन. Then beginner's dilemma, things to remember, book list. That is what the end would be. But today I'll be focusing more on the journey of how you should be beginning. And let's say the target is 1 year. अगर मैं target करता हूँ, my target is 2023. Now same approach will apply to aspirant जो आगे भी target कर रहे हैं. Naturally, I want to tell you that if you want to crack in 1 year, if you want to crack this in 1 year, if you want to crack in this 1 year, 1 year is enough. That's the first step you have to believe. And yes, 1 year is actually enough if you really want to crack the examination. If you are targeting to go on a long journey, okay, so अगर आप long journey में target कर रहे हो, it is very important and it is imperative on each one of you that you start putting effort. तो 1 year journey में मुझे क्या करना चाहिए? That is what I'm going to tell you. And let's correlate. Now, this is not the first time I'm discussing a strategy video. Almost every alternate week, every week मैं इसको discuss करता हूँ. But today's objective is to also link with the topper strategy. Yesterday I went to various toppers and I said in every strategy video I will discuss strategy of one topper. And we'll see how we are different than what they are doing. या फिर वो कुछ ऐसा कर रहे हैं जो हम नहीं कर रहे हैं, या फिर हम जो कर रहे हैं maybe we are doing the right thing. So that will give you an assurance that what we are doing and what we are not doing. So the first step is you have to understand whether you understand UPSC syllabus or not. So what do? You pick the syllabus, go and read the syllabus line by line. Okay, I can see my online student. I am sure everybody is able to. You can tell me, are you audible? The online students, are you audible? Just tell me you're audible. You can just wave your hand, tell me. मेरी आवाज clear है आप तक? There is no confusion. I'm YouTube live also at the same time. I want to ask the students, just, I'm audible? Yeah, I can see. Okay, thank you, Adarsh, Nandini, Aditya, Kanksha, wonderful, wonderful. Let's start. Yeah. Rashmi, Sonia, Shweta, Aditi, everybody. Good, good. So what I'm saying and telling you is not only what I have learned as a mentor in the past journey of this preparation. First is why I'm suited, because I have also been a journey. I've also seen this journey, which you are onto this. I've given 3 mains, I've given 2 interviews. I have failed, and that is why I'm here. I don't want you to fail. That's the first step. I made some mistake. You're not supposed to make the same mistake. I was almost there twice, but I made some mistake. There was some gap in the strategy. There was some gap in the plan. There was gap in the effort. Maybe there was gap in right input. But in the last 10 years of my journey, I have seen those gaps through experience and through exposure also. Today, those gaps are mended by people like you who are cracking the examination. I just want to share that strategy. जो मैं बता रहा हूँ वो मेरा निचोड़ सिर्फ मेरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग नहीं है, but also my experience which I have gained. You stick to this approach and you take my word, things will happen. First step, first thing. This UPSC examination is very much in your control. ये एक simple examination है. It is not mothers of all competition. It is not about jumping from a cliff to Grand Canyon. It is not a competition where you put everything on stake. Let's not be emotional and very judgmental about who are preparing and who are not preparing. These are first few things you have to keep in mind. Pehla step hai, I am going to follow a process where I'm going to target this competition as a person who has interest in the competition, who wants to be a civil servant. The first step, which I always tell my aspirant, that you should ask कि आप पूछो कि why UPSC, why civil services. That is the first step. Because once you have the right sense of purpose, you can maintain and sustain the journey. It is not about studying. Study is just one important part of preparation. Study के अलावा हमें बहुत कुछ और भी करना होगा जो equally important है. You know what that is? Maintaining your daily routine, discipline, consistency. Where is the motivation coming from? You need to ask कि motivation कहाँ से आ रहा है? Just because somebody in my village has cracked it, or somebody in my mohalla has cracked it, or somebody in my town has cracked it, so I should also do it. No. It is a big responsibility that you're going to take it forward. And because आप एक बड़े responsibility को take करते हो and you want to put a real effort, the motivation has to be very intrinsic and pure. I was going through the topper's video of Shruti Sharma. She's not my student, I do not know her. But whenever I come across her students, they inspire me also as a mentor because they have attained something which is uniquely different. But they have followed the same thing, probably a little different way. वो same किताबें पढ़ा है. She has read the same books which you are reading today. She has read the same material which you are reading today. She has read the same newspaper which you are reading today. And she has taken a leap of more than 50 marks from the rank who is second. UPSC में एक नंबर का वैल्यू होता है. And she has taken, जो rank 2 है, वो rank 1, rank 2 में there's a difference of more than 50 marks. That is huge. ऐसा पहले भी हुआ है. This is not the first time. Which means there is something unique about her. And it is not about, it is about her strategy, the plan, and perfect execution. बातें आपको भी पता होंगी. Eventually you will come to know all of it. But it is what counts in the end is, are you able to execute them or not? What I'm going to tell you is not something uniquely out of the window. वो वही बात है जो आप पहले भी सुने होंगे. Maybe, but when it comes from my side, maybe there is a reassurance. एक reassurance होता है कि हाँ सर बता रहे हैं, तो एक experience है, and thereby we can follow it. Okay? So this is my 11th year of mentoring the aspirant, and believe me, I'm an academic guy. मैं एक pure academic guy हूँ. आपके साथ fight मारूंगा. I will solve prelims questions with you. I'll solve mains questions with you. I'll write essays with you. I'll write answers with you. And that is what, because I am still in the learning mode. मेरा attempt खत्म हुआ time हो गया, but I am still in the learning mode. I gave my last attempt, officially in 2011, but I'm still in the learning mode. Okay? So, the first step. What are the pillars of preparation? How you should approach it? There are some 8 pillars of preparation, which I have already discussed, but let me tell you these pillars. The first is, have you seen the syllabus? How well? Have you read the syllabus? Have you read the syllabus? Because in the next 15 days, 20 days, 1 month, आपको syllabus को repeatedly देखना होगा. आपको बार-बार देखना होगा. आपको effort करना होगा. आपको इस syllabus को decode करना होगा. I want that syllabus should be at the back of your hand. Every word, I tell you, civil service code है. पता नहीं sir. Go and check it, है कि नहीं है. You should remember it. Because if you know it, you can filter it. That this is part of the syllabus, this is not part of the syllabus. Every day if you are reading newspaper and you do not know कि ये syllabus का part है, then that would be a mistake. We can't make this blunder. Because if you make some little mistake also, cycle repeat करना होगा. Believe me, that's very painful. I know a lot of aspirants today who are very good, made some mistakes on prelims and they're not in the list. There are some very good students who are there in the list. It gives me a lot of happiness from inside. But I'm also equally, maybe I had an anticipation कि ये लोग भी निकल सकते थे, नहीं निकाल पाए for some little mistakes they might have made in the preparation journey, which you should not. Okay, the first step is syllabus. Read the syllabus every day. Invest 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Read, invest for the next 1 month so that syllabus आपके दिमाग में बैठ जाए. The second is strategy and planning, very important. Make your own strategy and planning. You can follow a topper's strategy, but make your own. You can learn from somebody's strategy, but make your own. Ye journey unique hogi. You'll be isolated and alone also, remember, in this journey. And that is where strategy planning should set you apart. Study material. Very important. I'll go each one of them. मैं सब pillars पे detail में discuss करूँगा. Study material. What material are you following it? You are following a material because आपके friend ने बताया है? Or you're following the material because you believe that this material is good? Take my advice as a mentor. I would say stick to the basic books. Go to the basic approach. Stick to the Ncrt, maybe standard book, one newspaper. That will summarize everything. If you want to go some coaching, join it. Join with conviction that this coaching will help me. And follow their own notes properly. Also judge as a individual aspirant. आप judge करो कि वो coaching note relevant है कि नहीं है एग्जाम के हिसाब से. And the best way to judge whether coaching notes are relevant is to see, can I solve previous year questions based on the understanding what I'm reading? And if I'm able to solve it, अगर मैं पढ़ने के बाद if I'm able to solve UPSC's question, which means I'm right on track. If I'm reading a topic and I can write essay, I can attempt a questions in prelims, which means I'm right on track. So these are ways through which you can gauge the preparation also. हमें सिर्फ पढ़ना नहीं, हमें constantly we have to look back into कि मेरा study material relevant है, is it okay? Now one more very important part. In the beginning it will be all GS based approach, and in the GS based approach there are two areas. One is the static part and other is the dynamic part. In the static part, almost 50-60% is covered by Ncrt. Okay. Again, Ncrt, I would say that not all subjects. Ncrt preferably आपका economy, polity, history, geography. ये 4 NCRTs. Some areas of IR, society can also be covered. But broadly, these are 4 subjects जो NCRT में आपको cover करना होगा. As a mentor, I would say that once you are through with those 4 subjects, you cover broadly 75% of the syllabus of UPSC, prelims, mains both. Prelims में तो आप ज़्यादा cover कर लेते हो, but in mains you have some new areas added. 50 to 60% is covered by Ncrt, theory part I'm talking about. Then you have to go with another approach called standard books. Now standard books will remain, there are many books in the market, you can choose any one good book. As a mentor, I'll help you to choose one good, any one good book. इतना आपके लिए static के लिए काफी है. Also, you might say that ये book perfect नहीं है, and I would say yes, this book is not perfect. But among the book, maybe this is the best book which you can follow. But beyond that, मुझे कुछ करना है. There can be some value addition material, but that should be in the last. I will go in this value addition material later on, because value addition material is very subjective. Because there are good coachings, there are good coaching notes, there are good material, there are a lot of things which are there. But I will stick to the standard approach, the NCRT and standard book. अगर सिर्फ value addition नहीं भी करोगे, ये भी करोगे तो भी चलेगा. Selection इतने में भी हो जाएगा. You can crack it with this approach also. Then comes the dynamic part. In dynamic part, it is all about current affairs. And current affairs means it is all about newspapers. Are you following newspapers? Believe me, there is no parallel of newspaper. Newspaper कोई parallel नहीं है. And I have been telling my aspirants repeatedly that if you're not following newspapers, you're making mistake. If you're following some bana banaya, paka pakaya, coaching notes material, believe me, that will not work. If you want somebody puts everything on your platter in the very summary form, believe me, this is not what we are looking at. You should always treat newspaper as the primary source, at least in the beginning of next few months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Uske baad you can follow a hybrid approach. Then there are source materials, which are available in the market. There are good monthly magazines available, these are complementary source. ठीक है ना? जैसे आपने, you had dosa and complimentary cold drink is available. So don't go for the cold drink first step, go for the dosa. Cold drink is complementary. If you go with a cold drink, believe me, you'll remain hungry, and UPSC will say that you stay hungry, stay foolish. So I'm hungry, I'm foolish. Let's not make the mistake. I have to follow my approach. Newspaper primarily को cover करना है, especially with the last 2-3 years of pattern. UPSC wants you to learn newspapers. They are not giving questions from summarization part जो coaching institutes आपको provide करती हैं. Those coaching institute summarization और हम भी देते हैं by compulsion. We can't change that because that is the demand students have. But believe me, I want you all to still read newspapers, at least read important ones, read editorials, develop perspective, develop opinion, because the question will be in the integrated form. दोनों को integrate करना है, remember. Okay, we have to integrate it. Approach should be there. Very important. And how do I integrate it? A basic questions. Integration का approach क्या है? Let's say I read Parliament of India. Now, when I'm reading the Parliament of India conceptually, now this Parliament of India conceptually can be from, let's say, Lakshmikant. एक static book है, standard book है. Okay. Let's take an example. So, Parliament of India. Parliament of India आपने लक्ष्मीकांत से पढ़ा. You read it from Lakshmikant. A very good and standard book, very good compilation. Everything at one place. Then you said, let's look at some Bear Act. मैंने Bear Act देख लिया, जहाँ पे मैंने सिर्फ articles check कर लिया. Though it is not needed, but let's say I'm doing Bear Act. Bear Act is a standard book where articles are mentioned. Now this covers your static part. This covers your static part. Now what I do, I go with the dynamic areas. And what will be my dynamic areas? Dynamic areas I integrate with current news. Now can you give me an example? How do I integrate with current news? मैं UPSC के current news से कैसे integrate करूँ? Now, let's say there is an article on parliamentary history, how parliament has done in the last, 30 years. Okay, so let's say there's a, 30 years, there's an article on history of the parliament. The question comes, why there is an article? Because we are in 75th years of India's independence, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, and maybe there is an article on historically discussing 30 years. 30 years, why 30 years? Because 30 years pehle we had reforms in the economy, which was a structural reform. Maybe you can have an article of 75 years also. So when you have an article, which means we can link with the Constitution of India, that is Parliament of India, and the current issue is maybe there is an article on how Parliament has done during different eras and phases, and there might be a question where they might ask you ki assess the how the parliamentary system has done well in the last 75 years. Now here this article will give you fodder where you can integrate the theory with current practice. Now, as an aspirant, what you do, you will make pointers from here when you're reading the newspaper. And once you're reading the article, you're not reading the article. You're also understanding it conceptually, and you're able to bring a contemporary relevance. आप current level पे उसको relevance उसका देख पाते हो. And if you write an answer, let's say you write 200-250 words answer, this answer will be perfect. Where I'll have some 4-5 points from here, theory part from here. Okay, that is the integrated approach. So this is what we are looking at. When students study, they study in isolation. They are studying Parliament of India and theory. Now, on the final day, they are not able to integrate because your learnings have been isolated. But if you revise it, if you're able to integrate it, that is how things will go. So my strategy and planning will not only focus on the static areas, but also dynamic areas. Preparation को हमेशा आप static dynamic के aspect से भी देखो and try to bring novelty here also. Novelty is also very important. What is novelty? I'll come to that. यहाँ तक clear है. First is study material, write study material, making a strategy, and of course, focus on current affair. Current affair को आपको day 1 से start करना होगा. There is always a basic question which aspirants have कि sir current affair कितने दिन का पढ़ें? There is no fixed rule. I would say minimum 15 months, minimum 12 months, maximum 15 to 18 months. There is no limit. There are aspirants जो 3 साल पहले का current affair पढ़ने की कोशिश करते हैं. But as an aspirant, I know my limitation. I can only study for, let's say, only for last 12 months. तो हम वही follow करेंगे, हम बाकी को छोड़ देंगे. Now, once you get a hang of syllabus and you start reading the basic stuff, now how do I develop my filtering to next level? मुझे next क्या करना चाहिए? And that is where the concept of studying the pattern also comes in. Now, studying the pattern should also go with the parallel. अभी हम PYQs की बात कर रहे हैं. Now, PYQs I usually say last 10 years. For prelims, 2021 onwards, sorry, 11 onwards, and for mains, 2013 onwards. The last 4-5 years are most important, because in the last 4-5 years you'll understand the current trend. Again, let's come back to the same question. Now there is a question on Parliament of India. एक question है Parliament of India पे. Now there is a question on Parliament of India, and you've read it. Now what I'll do, I want to integrate it with my preparation. So mains, let's say this is a mains question that you can write. Now let's say there is a prelims question also which comes. So when the prelims question comes, what do you do here? After studying this topic, I will look in the PYQs and check in the last 10-11 years, क्या Parliament of India पे कोई सवाल है? And the answer would be not one, not two, but maybe many questions. With the limited knowledge and information that you've read so far, can you crack the question? Can you crack the question? Because on an average, you might get, maybe in the last 10 years, you might, Parliament में भी आपको 15 question मिल जाते हैं या 10 question मिल जाते हैं. Parliament means Prime Minister also, President also, Council of Ministers also, parliamentary committees, parliamentary process, working of Lok Sabha, working of Rajya Sabha, okay? How they have evolved, their powers, what is different between Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. And you will find not 10-15, you will get around 30 questions, I'm sure. इसी बार prelims में 3-4 questions थे इस पे, 4-5 questions, not 4-5, I think 3-4 questions were there, out of 11 questions. So now you have to see, can I solve PYQs? And these PYQs have to be analyzed meticulously. Analysis should be very thorough. ये नहीं कि एक बार देखा अच्छा ठीक है साइड में हो गया. You have to revisit, maybe 10 times, 15 times. Every time you're reading, revisit. Because UPSC suddenly has become very narrow in terms of, the toughness level. Toughness level बढ़ रहा है, so scope of error is less. And what I have to do, especially this time, anybody scoring 90 plus, because I know one student of mine was scoring 90 and he is not in prelims. Other student of, she had a score of 94 plus and she is in prelims. Now again, 90 score, pata nahi ki 90 hai exactly, because keys vary. But in general, I have feeling that anybody this year 85, 87 plus should be in the range of cracking prelims. So what do you do here? The idea is that we should be so thorough in my topic. अगर वो statement को twist करके भी दे तो I could recall it. My name is Pramod Singh, but question में लिखा हुआ है Singh Pramod, तो I should be able to recall it. Let's say उसको उल्टा भी लिखा हुआ है, then also I should be able to कि भाई same चीज को UPSC ने twist कर दिया है. They are checking, the understanding or not. So as an aspirant, you should be cognizant of these facts. आपको इन सब चीजों को देखना होगा. And that will come only when the revision is very thorough. PYQs का एक bundle ले लो and carry with you all the time. Every day, चाय पीते time, 10 minutes दो, every 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Read the question. Last 5 years are very important. And if you look at the prelims, almost 11-1200 questions आपको मिल जाएगा, which is quite sufficient for practice also. For mains, you get around every year 80, optional 20, maybe 100, 102, 800 questions. If I say just prelim mains, so GS 1, 2, 3, 4, 20, 80 question, 80 into maybe 8. 80 into 8 is 640 questions, right? So 640 questions आपको मिलेगा. अभी आपको कोई टेस्ट सीरीज देखने का भी जरूरत नहीं है. Because out of that 640 questions, 70% questions are still relevant. Because जो current issues होते हैं वो repetitive होते हैं. They repeat in cycle. Current issues they repeat in cycle. Unemployment का problem हमारे time भी था, आपके time भी है. The only difference would be data would be different. You would discuss in the current context and maybe you'll see from the last 2 decades. हमने जब आंसर राइट किया था तो हमारे पास डेटा था, वो हम उससे पहले का डेटा का बात करेंगे. The problems of unemployment are the same. The problems of industrialization are same. The problems of governance are almost similar. So repetitive रहता है. And once you've understood the basic concept, it is all about revision. Okay. Then PYQs will help you to filter and develop. अच्छा, PYQs and syllabus को जब integrate करते हैं, and there is a lot of thoroughness in the analysis. आपका जो analysis होता है, it is, let's say, very thorough. And if it is very thorough, one advantage that you see is कि आपका filtering strong होता चला जाएगा. Newspaper पढ़ा, you know exactly this kind of question has come from this article. There is Supreme Court judgment you're reading. Now, if you go in the previous year questions, there are many times questions and come on Supreme Court judgment. you can correlate then and there itself, which means you come back, you read PYQs, you come back to the same stuff again. आप अपने notes पे आओ, फिर से आओ, and suddenly your orientation towards notes will be different. Don't make random studies. UPSC is very specific, especially mains का syllabus तो defined है. Prelims defined नहीं, I agree. There is a lot of randomness in prelims, I agree. But mains is very much in control. Now, people who have cracked prelims today, maybe 12,000, 13,000, I don't know the exact number. Out of this, you know how many people will actually, serious people, who will be able to provide competition? Not more than 4,000. Because remaining का तैयारी नहीं है mains का. Optional का तैयार नहीं है. Prelims निकल गया है. खुश भी है वो अंदर से आज. But they know deep inside that उनका mains तैयार नहीं, उनका optional तैयार नहीं, उन्होंने ऐसे कभी try नहीं किया है. They have probably not gone through the PYQ so thoroughly. Prelims का किया होगा, mains का thorough नहीं होगा, I think. Which means competition is just among 4,000 people, out of which maybe 1,800 का interview call आएगा. But if you are thorough in your prelims as well as in mains, the day you clear prelims, the chances that हर दो में से एक आदमी का interview call आएगा और हर दो में से एक आदमी select होगा. Which means जितने का interview call आता है उसका आधा लोग select होते हैं. आधा exactly नहीं, but 40% people. So chances of making it to the competition is very high when you clear the prelims. Because फिर ratio 4:1 हो जाता है. 4:5:1 हो जाता है. Almost. Interview call का. और interview call में 2:1 maybe और 2.5:1 हो जाता है. But people who are actually serious, वो number जो mains के लिए तैयार है, serious का मतलब ये नहीं कि तैयारी अच्छी नहीं की है. Are they mains ready or not? So when I'm talking about PYQs, it is prelims as well as in mains. यानी आपको topic पढ़ो तो prelims के हिसाब से भी देखो and mains के हिसाब से भी देखो. If there is a MCQ, it is a prelims, and if there is a question for mains, it is a mains question. If there is a MCQ on unemployment concept in prelims, you will say it is a prelims question. You know, definition of unemployment, let's say, you know, unemployment rate. You know, some data about recent periodic लेबर फोर्स सर्वे से जो आ गया है वो एक पे एक आर्टिकल डाल दिया तो प्रीलिम्स का क्वेश्चन हो गया. मेंस में आई सेड एनालाइज द एम्प्लॉयमेंट ट्रेंड बेस्ड ऑन द रीसेंट पीरियोडिक लेबर फोर्स सर्वे, तो मेंस का सवाल हो गया. कैन यू टेल मी द रीजन व्हाई इंडिया इज फेसिंग द प्रॉब्लम्स ऑफ जॉबलेस ग्रोथ, मेंस का सवाल हो गया. So as an aspirant, you need to know that you are reading the same stuff. When there is a MCQ, there is a prelims approach. When there is an answer writing and description, there is a mains approach. दोनों में एक सिमिलैरिटी है लेकिन. But prelims का strategy अलग होगा, mains का strategy अलग होगा. Now, so that is how it will be. Choosing the right optional, ये एक बहुत important next step है. Once you have started the journey. Which optional? Public administration, political science, anthropology. ये optional मुझे इसलिए पढ़ना है because ये मेरे टॉपर ने बोला इसका syllabus छोटा है. What is the reason behind choosing optional? Are you even thinking of choosing an optional? Or maybe you will take that call probably sometime later. At least choosing the right optional should be in my mind. Now, what are the parameters? कैसे optional choose करें उस पर भी आएंगे. Next is linguistic ability building, writing skill. How many of you write? The answer is 0. When was the last time you wrote something? The answer is I don't know. Can you write about your village in 200 words? The answer is, sir, I can try. Can you write about the city or town where you live in 200 words? Sir, और कोई काम नहीं है क्या? Answer writing is about communicating what you already know, which means what I have read should be, I should develop ability to communicate in my own words. And that will differentiate you from people who are reading and thinking, then also who are able to communicate. So you are reading, you are thinking, and you are communicating also. UPSC कहता है हमें तीनों लोग चाहिए. We need somebody who has a holistic process and approach. Am I right, guys? Huh? Are you able to understand? Able to understand? Chalo, good. The last is stay positive. It's a long journey. Now, how do I stay positive? You have to find her. I can't tell you. That is something which comes with self-discovery. How do you stay positive? You have to find a way out. You have to enjoy the journey. Otherwise, enjoy नहीं करोगे तो sustain नहीं कर पाओगे. The enjoyment should be there. Okay? So timeline, now this is the target in front of us. भूत की तरह लगना पड़ेगा मुझे. I have to give my best day in day out. I should be thinking about these dates when I'll be cracking it. ये 16th September है, ये 16th इस बार का, I think चेक करना पड़ेगा. Okay. Now the first step, I have to crack prelims, the first stage, and when I'm trying to crack prelims in the first stage, what should be by the target score I'm looking at? UPSC का cut off आप देखोगे, it is coming down since last few years, which means exam is becoming difficult. अब क्या करें? I have to target my next prelims. तो मेरा target at least 90 would be my threshold. इससे नीचे तो हम afford नहीं कर सकते हैं if I want to be in the list. But I would say let's target 20% more than that. Let's target 100 on a safer side. आप कहोगे सर ये prelims निकालना टफ है, आप 20% ऊपर की बात कर रहे हो. Believe me, this is achievable. It is very much achievable. You just have to have the same book, same sources. Paper इससे one level tough भी आएगा तो फिर भी हो सकता है. मैंने भी 3 बार दिया है. I've always been 20% above the cutoff and with very limited effort. I was not a slogger of 10 hours. I was a calculate study वाला बंदा था. आज भी calculate study से exam निकल सकता है. The only thing that you need to know the importance of the subjects, also the strategy. So if I look at okay, so the cutoffs have been average 45% in the last few years. The toughness varies. UPSC कुछ भी करे वो हमें मतलब नहीं है, हम उसके लिए ready रहेंगे. The paper might be tough or easy or unpredictable. My approach would be that I have to crack my UPSC examination. Now, I'm sure a lot of you must have gone through this approach, but the next step should be that once you're reading a subject, always ask few questions from your side. I'm reading economics. What is the importance of economics in prelims? What is the importance of economics in mains? I'm reading society. What is the importance of this subject in UPSC area? Syllabus क्या है? There are few things basic level पे ready होना चाहिए. If you know that in Indian polity you're getting average 12 questions, 12, 15 questions, you know this subject, whatever effort I made, cannot fetch me more than 10 marks. Am I right? So my strategy should be where I am looking at maybe 10, 11 marks in this area. If I'm going for history, I know that on an average history provides some 18, 20 questions every year, which means whatever effort I make, I'm just preparing 20% of the preparation. Now, when I summarize the whole aspect, I say UPSC is a law of averages. I have to be average in all the area, or at least I have to focus on all the area. Because I do not know which section will be tough which year. हो सकता है आपका economics बहुत अच्छा हो, polity बहुत अच्छा हो, you are doing very well in some subject, and suddenly you feel that that particular year you get less question from that area. Now what do? You can do nothing. And that is where I will focus on all the areas. I will not take any subject for granted. My approach should be holistic, and that approach will require me to put effort. हर area में मुझे अपना effort करना है. First step, what should I do? I'm starting preparation from today or tomorrow. The first step is Ncrt. Let's start with Ncrt. The people who are targeting UPSC preparation, I would say that there is always a dilemma. ठीक है, एक हमेशा dilemma रहता है that what NCRTs, I would say till next 2-3 months, or at least 2 months, focus on 11th and 12th NCRT. आप 12th 11th को focus कर लो. If you have less time, focus on not all, but important NCRTs are 11th and 12th. The good thing about 11th 12th is that 6th to 10th NCRT, they repeat here. Okay, so if they repeat here, which means even effort here will be revised here. So you can avoid that repetition also. So 11th 12th ka NCRT are the most important. All the subjects, economy, polity, history and geography, they practically cover your most part of the syllabus of UPSC. I'm talking about the static area. Now why NCRT is the next question you might be asking. Already मैंने इसको पहले भी discuss किया है. Benefits, because NCRT will help in develop your base and thought process development. आप NCRT देखोगे तो there are stories in the NCRTs, there are graphs in the NCRTs, there are illustrations in the NCRTs, there are images in the NCRT, there is a pictorial benefits, pictorial memory, you get it, and you develop your thought, you develop your understanding. The learning सिर्फ नहीं होता, you also assimilate. When I show you a picture of, let's say, इकोनॉमी या ज्योग्राफी में आप जब कोई डायग्राम देखते हो अबाउट कन्वेक्शनल रेनफॉल और ओरोग्राफिक रेनफॉल, suddenly you develop a picture in your mind. And once you read the theory part and you interlink it, the understanding is thorough. When you read a story about economic hardship of a family, you are able to understand the concept of social justice. When you are able to read about climate change or about environmental movement, you understand the economical, social, and environmental aspect of a certain thing which is there in the country. That is what you get. You will not get the same thing in your own notes or in your maybe standard books, because their outlook is more theory and fact loaded. UPSC, in UPSC the understanding part is important. आप जब NCRT पढ़ते हो, NCRT somewhere prepares you for conceptual part. There is no voluminous data or fact there. बहुत theory नहीं मिलेगा आपको. They will just touch the periphery, but they will give you enough fodder for UPSC, because UPSC is about little. It is not about more. More of little is what you need to know. Okay? Then what if I put a timeline? Now this is very subjective. This is the timeline which I have put. But let's target till the next August. I should be thorough with my NCRTs. Normally, I advise students to start with economy and polity. Why? Because they help in the contemporary part, current part. If you look at the GS paper 2 and 3, ये current based होता है, and you get to cover from here. Economy, polity are the most regular part of the newspaper. Okay, so we have to be. आप अगर स्टार्ट करोगे पॉलिटी इकोनॉमी में, ये हेल्पफुल होगा. अगेन इट इज योर कॉल. यू कैन स्टार्ट विद ज्योग्राफी एंड हिस्ट्री ऑल्सो. व्हाट टू स्टडी? एनसीईआरटी. व्हाट नॉट टू स्टडी? एनीथिंग एल्स. स्टैंडर्ड बुक्स. व्हाट टू स्टडी? मेक इंपॉर्टेंट लिस्ट. द सेम स्टैंडर्ड बुक्स यू विल स्टडी जो पूरी दुनिया पढ़ रही है. यू विल नॉट स्टडी अ न्यू स्टैंडर्ड बुक बिकॉज उसका कवर अच्छा है, उसमें इमेज अच्छा है, या उसका फोटो अच्छा लग रहा है, और मे बी योर फ्रेंड हैज टोल्ड यू. नो, let's follow the same traditional approach. I'll read the same book, but make sure that it is updated one. जो भी आप पढ़ रहे हो latest edition है, because the fact data are updated on regular basis. Then the newspapers, Yojna, Raj Sabha TV or Sansad TV, well, it is newspaper is what I would advise. For other areas, I would say no today. The reason is why, because these are nothing but these are for value addition. पहले basic तो कर ले, value addition बाद में करेंगे. स्टूडेंट्स हैव टेम्पटेशन, सर पीआईबी का समरी देख लेते हैं, योजना का समरी देख लेते हैं. शुड आई लुक एट द समरी ऑफ सम इंस्टीट्यूट जो कि कुरुक्षेत्र का समरी दे रहा है. यू आर नॉट रेड द बेसिक न्यूज़पेपर्स, यू हैव नॉट रेड द एनसीईआरटी, बट यू आर गोइंग विद द न्यू समरी. नाउ दैट इज समथिंग व्हिच शुड बी अवॉइडेबल इन द बिगिनिंग. लेटर ऑन इफ यू हैव टाइम, आप वहां से वैल्यूडेशन कर सकते हो ऑफ द टॉपिक. लेट्स से देयर इज अ योजना एंड द इशू इज अर्बन डेवलपमेंट, लेट्स से. And now you've read urban development in your notes. Let's say you've read in the class, understood. Now, once you're going for a Yojna article, what is the approach? Abhi kya karoge? Now, in this Yojna, try to look what extra they have added apart from what you have read, and just filter that from here and append that here. Just add it here and revise this part. Keep the Yojna ko side mein kar do. In Yojna, there are 15 articles. Look for the 3-4 more important articles. The rest can be left. Now you might be thinking, sir, वो भी important है. Well, I'm not saying what is important and what is not important. What I'm saying is most relevant and most important. Because the more volume will be there, the more difficulty it will be there to revise and keep, on your, tips. Ultimately, UPSC may have to write 200 words answer, 250 words answer. That is the upper limit. You might read 5,000 word about a topic. 500 word, 5,000, 10,000 word पढ़ लिया, फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. Okay? So these things have to be kept in mind once you are pushing yourself. When you're pushing the envelope, जब envelope push करते हो तैयारी में, effort करते हो, always ask yourself, am I on the right track? Is it okay? Is it not okay? ठीक है. PYQs very important. इसको अभी से pick कर लेंगे हम लोग. PYQs will help you to filter it. When you go to standard books, PYQs should be more regular. अगस्त के बाद तो PYQs आपका regular, मतलब PYQ आपको carry करो daily. जैसे पंडित जी लोग जब मंदिर जाते हैं तो वो किताब लेके जाते हैं अपना बुक का, वैसे PYQ शुड बी योर लाइक अ बुक दैट यू हैव टू रिसाइट ऑलमोस्ट ऑन डेली बेसिस. आई मीन इन योर माइंड, ऑफ कोर्स यू विल नॉट रिसाइट इट ओपनली. द नेक्स्ट इज द सिलेबस कंप्लीशन. ये जो पार्ट होगा, स्पेशली पीपल हु आर टारगेटिंग, दिस पार्ट शुड बी द मोस्ट थरो पार्ट. This part should be, I would say, should be brutal for you. Why it is brutal? Because you will accelerate here. Now this is the time when there's no looking back. You will push, it's like, that momentum build ho gaya hai, now let's capitalize the momentum. The brutal word is not right, I would say. Maybe the better word would be that you have to emphasize, and you will make sure that you be mains ready. Target is mains March 2023. Believe me, it is not easy, but अगर easy होता तो हम यहाँ खड़े ही नहीं होते. UPSC preparation में definitely, UPSC preparation is not tough. It is the voluminous syllabus which has to be covered in a limited frame with the integrative approach which UPSC is asking. It requires to put extra effort, and this effort would require you to go outside your comfort zone. आपके comfort zone से आपको बाहर निकलना पड़ता है. प्रॉब्लम वहां आती है कि आपको comfort zone से बाहर निकल के पुश करना होता है. जब comfort zone से बाहर पुश करते हो अपने आप को, this will require extra effort. Then self-evaluation. I always tell my aspirant that at least every 15 days ask yourself, am I on track? क्या चीजें हो रही हैं? Am I reading the right book? Are you able to solve PYQs? क्या MCQs निकल रहा है मेरा? Am I happy from inside? Is it feeling a burden? Am I exhausted? Or maybe I'm doing extra than what is required. क्या मैं बहुत कुछ तो नहीं कर रहा हूं? These questions have to be asked. Introspect the journey at least last 15 days. That will help you to maybe re-look and maybe find gap in your approach. कई बार आपको पता है चीजें, but you still overlook it. And why you overlook it? Because it is again outside your comfort zone. There is a lot of inertia जो आप करते हो. A very good example is आप revision कर रहे हो. आपने NCRT पढ़ लिया. You read NCRT once or maybe twice thorough. आपने 2 बार पढ़ लिया NCRT and you feel NCRT आपने read कर लिया है. Now there is I say go and revise NCRT again. Now there will be inertia. And why inertia? Because आपको लगता है अरे क्या नया पढ़े हो, तो पढ़ तो लिया है. Now this inertia will cost you. Because it is not about reading new book. It is about re-emphasizing, re-revising the same step that you've read, so that if you're able to answer a question on the same topic, it should be more conceptually thorough for you. और अगर आप मेंस का आंसर लिख रहे हो, तो वो जो पार्ट ऑलरेडी आपने पढ़ा है, वो अगर रिवाइज्ड है, तो आपके टिप पे रहेगा. And hence you can write better on the same topic. But if you look for a new source for the same topic, you're making a mistake. So revision is always inertia. रिविजन सबसे बड़ा इनर्शिया होता है. बिकॉज रिविजन इज लाइक, आपको लगता है आपका टाइम वेस्ट हो रहा है, मैं इसमें कुछ नया पढ़ लेते हैं. बिलीव मी, पीपल हु हैव प्रिपेयरिंग, दे समवेयर फॉरगेट दिस रूल. ऑप्शनल कवरेज, दिस विल रिक्वायर सम एफर्ट. चूजिंग ऑप्शनल, डिसाइडिंग, पुटिंग योर एक्स्ट्रा एफर्ट. बिकॉज ऑप्शनल मोस्टली आर टेक्निकल. ऑप्शनल, कोई भी ऑप्शनल टेक्निकल होता है. आप ये मत सोचो कि मेरा ऑप्शनल टेक्निकल नहीं होगा. Every optional has some technicalities, because UPSC is asking you to develop understanding of that optional, and you tend to become an expert in that optional. You have to develop language of the optional. आप public administration पढ़ रहे हो, you should have a language of public administration. When you're writing sociology answer, they should have language of sociology. It is not a general study. When you're writing answer of political science, वो political science के wordings उसमें आनी चाहिए, which means you should have language of political science. If you're going for maths and science, maybe thoroughness is required in that particular subject. तो आप अगर देखोगे तो ये सारे फैक्टर्स, और मैं कुछ नया नहीं कह रहा हूं, people say it all the time, but question is, are you among those people who are doer? क्या आप उनमें से हो जो do कर रहे हो या नहीं कर रहे हो? Okay. Then notes making and writing skill. So this will also go parallelly, notes making and writing skill. Notes are very important. Again, always look this competition from skill aspect. You're investing in these areas. You're investing in the reading skills. You're investing in the writing skills. Can you write better? Can you write something? Can you write better? Can you improve it? Can you converge your thoughts? क्या आप अपने बातों को लिख पाते हो, समझ पाते हो? Is there a structure in your thought process? If there's a flow in your communication? Okay. क्या time management उसमें है? Can you practice and revise? N number of things are there which you should be focusing. I'll share this PDF, don't worry. ठीक है ना? तो ये आपको समझना पड़ेगा if you really want to prepare, this examination. Okay, guys, I'm sure it becomes heavy. Now, so what do you do? Till March, I should complete my syllabus. March, I should complete my syllabus, prelims and mains. And this syllabi completion should be mains ready, which means topic by topic, the main should be ready. Now, it looks easy, but it is difficult. हर टॉपिक इजी, हर टॉपिक टफ नहीं है. कुछ टॉपिक होंगे जो बहुत छोटे से 2 घंटे में हो जाएगा, आधे घंटे में भी हो जाएगा. But there are topics which will take time also, because you have to, invest, make an effort. But again, we have almost 365 days. It is not one day we are talking about. Map with PYQs, subject-wise test. Now, testing is very important. Always mock test, questions, PYQs. Okay. Writing practice and essay is again important. Now, जब आप यूपीएससी की तैयारी करते हो, so it is not one. There are multiple pillars which have to be focused concurrently. If you're writing answer writing, you have to write essay also. If you're doing optional, you have to write, solve MCQs on, prelims also. तो सब पे काम करना होगा. If you think that I will do this later on, it is completely your part of your plan. But वो होना चाहिए ultimately. Okay. Prelims most unpredictable, most difficult. I would say most difficult, unpredictable, difficult, more toughest, highly competitive. After this journey smoothens, but the journey का nature बदल जाता है. GS means thought process and good writing skill. A lot of practice, revision, practice, revision, writing, practice, revision, 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 writing, practice. Optional choice becomes very critical. Personality test, इसको छोड़ देते हैं. We'll come to this later on, because right now it is not important. आपको बाद में personality test में it is all about developing opinion on certain issues, knowing about yourself. Okay, so these are the areas we want to focus upon. Optionals, well, I always tell interest in the subject should be the first criteria. You have an academic background because you belong to a certain subject, already पढ़ा हुआ है, that might be one reason. Some people choose optional because overlap have with GS, that can also be there. Availability of guidance, availability of study material, ये prime parameters होंगे जिसके बेस पर आप optional choose करोगे. आपको optional choose करना है, you have to ask yourself. So, a lot of people are graduation from the subject also. Now, I will tell you one example why choice is critical and why choosing a wrong optional will cost you. And I am the first example. I chose 2 optional because I did my engineering, prepared for the competition. My subject electronics was not part of syllabus of UPSC. Electrical tha, but it was way too heavy. So I chose, we had 2 options, optional. I chose public administration and sociology. Now public administration came very naturally to me. मुझे बहुत अच्छे से समझ में आने लगा. From day one, I felt very happy because I could understand, correlate with public administration. Sociology looked like कि हो जाएगा, but नहीं हो रहा था. I kind of became complacent. अरे कर लेंगे यार. End तक नहीं हुआ. Sociology costed my first attempt because in the interview भी अच्छा हुआ, mains भी अच्छा हुआ, sociology भी अच्छा नहीं हुआ, remaining area. And sociology में अच्छा नहीं, खराब से भी खराब हो गया. That costed. In the first attempt when I gave, मैंने पहले attempt में interview दिया था. Sociology was the only factor, and believe me, it was completely my fault. I did not took the right guidance. I became complacent. My notes were not ready. The answer writing part was not so thorough. On final day, I made some mistake. I was not, जो मैंने effort किया था उस level के आसपास भी नहीं था मेरा answer उस दिन जो मैंने mains में लिखा था. I felt underconfident from inside, and I knew I'm out of the game. फिर भी there was a ray of hope that maybe border पे हो. Because I did not know about the people who were competing. वो बहुत better थे. That year sociology was a high scoring optional and my score was very less. In public administration I was one of the toppers. तो वो balance हो गया. But somewhere it is about, मैंने कहा law of averages लगता है. हर area में आपको या तो अच्छा होना पड़ेगा, मतलब average होना पड़ेगा या अच्छा होना पड़ेगा. या तो if you are weak in some area, the other area you should be exceptionally high, तब अच्छा होगा. So these are the mistakes which aspirants make, and I am the example. I know a lot of my friends who chose different attempt में different option choose किया, हर attempt में नया option choose किया, and that costed them. One of my friend who got selected eventually, but he chose maths, then geography, then different subjects, एंड इवेंचुअली इन द लास्ट अटेम्प्ट उन्होंने ऑप्शन चेंज करा, फिर वहां किसी तरह सिलेक्शन हुआ. So these are the examples which have to be there. Now yesterday before the session I was looking at what extra value addition would I do. मैंने कहा let's go and see so there are toppers video. You can do one thing that, and I would advise you that go through the videos of the toppers, especially after this lecture जहां आपको काफी चीजें समझ में आ गई हैं, बेसिक प्रिपरेशन कैसे करना है, what are important. And once you go through the toppers video, बहुत सारी चीजें आपको समझ में नहीं आएंगी, but you will at least understand them from the perspective कि आगे ये होगा. Okay, so toppers video, here I saw the video of Shruti Sharma again, because जिसके marks देखे I was like stunned. It's a low scoring examination and she scored so high. She scored 494 in GS. मैं जब UPSC में बच्चों को टारगेट करता हूँ मैं कहता हूँ GS में 400 प्लस रहना है, इनका 494 था. I mean exceptionally good. कोई क्लोज ही नहीं था, उसके नीचे जो है 50 नंबर नीचे है उसका सेकंड नंबर वाला बच्चा. और सोर्स सेम, द सोर्स दैट यू आर रीडिंग. Maybe there was something in the approach which was very effective. Okay, so when I went through, I summarized it. She said integrated approach. She followed very basic books for prelims. For mains again, PYQ, syllabus, class notes, wherever she studied. Interview, she said I developed opinion on issues. And that kind of summarized it. Then further, newspaper notes as per syllabus. Now, one thing which I found different in her strategy, and I want you all to listen to what I'm telling you. इन्होंने क्या किया, न्यूज़पेपर, she did not read newspaper in a conventional manner. Conventional manner में नहीं पढ़ा. इन्होंने पढ़ा, न्यूज़पेपर को पढ़ा, and she updated her own notes which she was making on topics through newspapers. For example, she gave an example of interstate water dispute, and she said that interstate water dispute, center-state relations में भी आता है, but interstate water dispute as per Article 262 of Indian Constitution. Now, this dispute, इस पे कोई आर्टिकल आया, लेट्स से देयर इज अ मुला परेरा डैम चैलेंज, और दो स्टेट के बीच वाटर इशू होता है. तो शी रेड द आर्टिकल. नाउ शी हैड अ नोट्स रेडी फॉर दिस टॉपिक, लेट्स से. सो इसके लिए क्या किया, शी रेड द नोट, शी मेड हर ओन नोट्स इन द टॉपिक बिकॉज इट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ द सिलेबस. नाउ व्हाट शी डिड, जो न्यूज़पेपर में आया वहां पे इन्होंने इसको ऐड कर दिया, न्यू थिंग. शी डिड नॉट नोट डाउन द एंटायर न्यूज़पेपर, बट शी इंटीग्रेट हर विद हर करंट नोट विद दिस. और रिमेंबर दिस विल टेक सम टाइम, बिकॉज आपको पहले ये रेडी करना होगा, और ये रेडी करने के लिए स्टार्टिंग में दिक्कत होता है. इट विल टेक लॉट ऑफ एफर्ट एंड टाइम, बिकॉज 3 pages या 2 pages you have to make notes here, and then you find that. So you can do this later on. In the beginning you can jot down important points, and once you read that topic in your current affair class, then you can integrate later on. But this was the approach which I found little different from general strategy. हुआ क्या था, she did the same thing. She did integration of her topic with current, but she was doing concurrently, parallelly कर रही थी वो. कुछ लोग 2 सेकंड में मतलब वो अपना बनाते हैं, बाद में इंटीग्रेट करते हैं. No, she was doing in parallel. She said that I went through toppers strategy, but I made my own individual plan. Also, I integrate my coaching time plan with them. मोस्टली कोचिंग्स में आपको गाइडेंस मिलता है, पढ़ाया जाता है डिटेल में. सो शी सेड नो, आई हैड माय ओन स्टडी प्लान. मैं बच्चों को भी बोलता हूँ, एंड आई ऑलवेज एम्फसाइज दिस, दैट यू शुड हैव योर सेल्फ स्टडी प्लान व्हिच शुड इंटीग्रेट विद द कोचिंग स्टडी प्लान, बिकॉज कोचिंग विल गो इन देयर ओन अप्रोच. दे हैव टू कवर द सिलेबस, एंड दे हैव बेस्ड ऑन एबिलिटी ऑफ फैकल्टी प्लान दे हैव इन प्लेस. हर बैच का प्लान भी अलग अलग होता है, राइट, बिकॉज सेम फैकल्टी इज टीचिंग इन द मॉर्निंग ऑल्सो, इवनिंग में कोई और फैकल्टी पढ़ा रहा है. Many other institute there are multiple batches are there. हमारे यहाँ 4 बैच चलता है. तो same faculty cannot teach in all the batches at the same time, but you have to develop your own strategy based on what you have a plan. Now here I'll help you कि आप क्या कर सकते हो. For example, I can help you in this. How do you develop your own time plan? I will help you. Plan आपका होगा. I want you to go in the self-learning mode. Guidance mentoring is very important. Right guidance, right input. If you can't join a coaching, make sure you have a right guidance. If you join a coaching, make sure that a guidance is available. Because हर coaching में guidance available है जरूरी नहीं है. कहीं सिर्फ पढ़ाया जाता है, guidance नहीं मिलता है. Guidance means you can ask your doubts, you can sit with faculty for 5 minutes, strategize your study plan, see where you're lacking. Okay, how can you put extra effort in this area? Because a mentor will help you to know where you stand and make sure those mentors has experience of this process. Study material, stick to one source. This is what she said. Do validation later. Notes making, very important. Process is important. She said notes making is a process. Okay, notes making is a process. Because it helps you to get familiar with the issue. और आप उसका note making करते हो तो revision is also there. Every time you are making note, you are revising also. Revision becomes very easy. External source. Let's say I read a topic from books X. मैंने एक book से एक किताब topic पढ़ा. Or I did the topic in the class. मैंने ही आपको पढ़ा है, economics से वो topic पढ़ा है. Let's say I covered national income or I covered development. And then you found some, your friend, आपका roommate, वो कोई किताब लेके आया, कहा देखो development का बहुत अच्छा topic दिया हुआ है इसमें. Now there is a temptation. Now you read in the class, but when you look at the book, you find there are some extra areas also in the same topic. Now there is a temptation. Now in this temptation, remember, you should never compromise with the original source because आपने original source पे effort किया है. And if you're reading the same source, same stuff from other source, you're making a mistake. अब वहां से क्या करो, आप उसको लिमिट जो उसमें एक्स्ट्रा है उसको ऐड करने की कोशिश करो. तो she said that external notes, bring it down, add your own. आप उसको छोटा कर दो, उसको अपने वर्ड में वहां पे समराइज कर दो. अगेन टेस्ट सीरीज, बिकॉज टेस्ट सीरीज हेल्प यू टू डेवलप योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग. PYQs फॉर प्रैक्टिस एंड असेसमेंट, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ठीक है. फिर और उन्होंने क्या कहा, कहा तो बहुत कुछ, मैंने उनको समराइज किया. ऐसे प्रैक्टिस. नो हिस्ट्री कोलेटेड कोट्स, ये जनरली सब लोग करते हैं. इकट्ठा करने का काम तो नॉर्मल है आज के जमाने में. टेलीग्राम, हर टेलीग्राम ग्रुप के चैनल के आपने मेंबर हो. नोट्स कलेक्शन, कोलेशन, क्वेश्चंस, MCQs, बुकलेट्स, PDFs. लैपटॉप में मल्टीपल GBs भरा हुआ है लोगों के. बट दैट इज, मुझे लगता है कुछ MBs की जरूरत है. GBs आर मे बी वे टू हाई पढ़ने के लिए. तो हियर कोट्स एंड सेविंग. आपने कोई कोट मेंशन किया, आपने कोई अच्छा लाइन पढ़ा, लेट्स से you're reading an article and you read a line and you found that line is very good. Wow, this line looks good. Note it down. Revise it. Bring back that in your essay when you're writing it. Make an effort to bring that. फिर एक टाइम आएगा वो कॉन्शियसली होने लगा, मतलब इजीली होने लगेगा, इनवॉलंटरली होने लगेगा. ओके. देन वन वर्ड विच आई फाउंड, इस पूरे प्रिपरेशन में मुझे सिर्फ एक नया वर्ड मिला इनकी जर्नी में, and this word was internal accountability. He said that this journey is about motivation. This journey is about discipline. This journey is about accountability. मैं नहीं पढ़ूंगा, okay. मैं पढ़ूंगा, okay. How does it matter? Nobody is there to check you. Externally आपके ऊपर कोई प्रेशर नहीं है. आप कोचिंग जा रहे हो, आप सेल्फ स्टडी कर रहे हो कमरा बंद करके. Your father or your parents open the room, whether you're studying or not, you're thinking the whole day for 8 hours and doing nothing. So it is your accountability. Are you accountable internally? And this is a word, because that is why I have highlighted it. Internally accountable हो कि नहीं इस process के लिए? Because nobody is going to ask you. Your result will tell whether you are accountable or not. Target base. Have you made a target? Have you made a target? Is there a weekly target? Are you able to meet it? Or are you even close to the target? अगर आप close हो, which means okay. If you're not close, probably it is not right. Okay? So that is how it should be. Optional. Based on interest, familiarity, source material, guidance. मैंने सारा पॉइंट नोट किया, फिर मैंने अपने PPT से क्रॉस चेक किया इसको. क्या नया मिला इसमें? Which means almost every topper will say the similar things. The problem is not what I'm telling you. The problem is, are you able to execute it? For me, no plan is bad. If a plan is perfectly executed, that is the plan we are looking at. And that plan has to be very individual specific. I can't follow her plan. Now she chose an option which was history. She was from history background. It was very naturally, history came naturally to her. History is not a very popular optional. Believe me. Unlike other optional, history इतना popular नहीं है. Its syllabus is also voluminous. But she felt no, she has a graduation in history and she had a better understanding, interest, more familiarity. Okay. So that is how I should be. I'll be taking some doubts also. Please don't go. Probably next 4 or 5 minutes, I'll stop. ठीक है. Weekly schedule, always try to follow weekly schedule. This weekly schedule should be target based. Make a small target. I said, let's make a target of 20 hours only, but make a target. Let's make a target, I will read only 2 chapters, but make sure that you complete the target. Second is reward gain strategy. This is what I tell my aspirant, reward and gain. Reward yourself when you meet a target. How do you reward yourself? Do something that you like. Take a break for half day after completing your weekly target. Not before. ठीक है, ये नहीं कि पहले ब्रेक ले लेते हैं, टारगेट बाद में मीट करेंगे, है ना. हेल्थ, टेक केयर ऑफ हेल्थ, स्पेशली इफ यू आर आउट स्टेशनड, यू आर इन दिल्ली, बिकॉज हेल्थ इज वन एरिया वेयर दिस विल हिट यू if you don't take care of yourself. A lot of unhealthy stuff and unhealthy foods are outside, you know. Then regular break, very important to rejuvenate. Regular break is very important. कभी पढ़ने का मन नहीं कर रहा, don't study. Don't study just for the sake of studying. Maybe you're not feeling well. Maybe look for the time when you are in best. Regular break मतलब, you know, probably, you know, you have a defined time, you go for a walk, or maybe one particular day आप evening पूरा off ले लेते हो. It works. It is completely work. Because आपको rejuvenate करना होगा. I'm sitting in front of the table. Why I'm sitting? Just because I have to sit, or maybe I'm enjoying the process, or maybe I'm sincerely studying or not. Develop a habit. Okay? Try to make multitasking, especially when you're in college, when you're in some kind of job, when you're a full-time aspirant. This game is more mental. जब आप कॉलेज में होते हो, जॉब में होते हो, तो here the things become different, because suddenly in this situation, you know, you have something to fall back on in terms of there is alibi also, excuse भी होता है. But here when you are full time, the pressure becomes very high. So these things that you have to remember, and some problems that you will face in the beginning. Okay, I'll just open the questions for doubts. Okay, जो problem आप beginning में face करोगे, one is the task would be highly tedious. न्यूज़पेपर बहुत tedious लगेगा. स्टार्टिंग का 2-3 महीना would be like hell. आधा समझ में आएगा, कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा. क्या मेरे साथ ही ऐसा हो रहा है? Believe me, it is happening with everybody. Things are not working. They never were. लाइफ में कभी वैसे लगता है, कभी काम करता है क्या कुछ? You are making it work. Things are always unsettled. Remember, preparation में हमेशा preparation unsettled रहेगा, incomplete रहेगा. But you are constantly putting effort to go close to the complete, right? Defer and procrastinate. कल करेंगे. मैंने कहा ना, there is a lot of inertia inside you when you're preparing. Inertia बहुत रहता है. Inertia of not doing. क्या नहीं करना है? कल लिखेंगे आंसर. ये किताब कल करेंगे. इसको पक्का कल करेंगे. Tomorrow never comes. You tend to defer. Lopsided approach. जो अच्छा लगता है उसको पढ़ रहे हैं. क्या नहीं आता सर? ज्योग्राफी टफ है. पढ़ा नहीं सर. पॉलिटी क्यों पढ़ रहे हो? ज्योग्राफी टफ है तो. पॉलिटी तो तुम्हारा बैकग्राउंड है, क्योंकि पॉलिटी अच्छा लगता है. आई लाइक पॉलिटी, आई एंजॉय पॉलिटी, आई विल डू वेरी वेल इन पॉलिटी, आई विल स्कोर 12 out of 12 इन पॉलिटी. बट व्हाट अबाउट ज्योग्राफी? ओके, सो दिस इज lopsided. आर यू डूइंग आंसर राइटिंग? नो. कब करोगे? सर वंस आई क्लियर द प्रीलिम. सीरियसली? रियली? बिलीव मी, यू विल नॉट गेट. जिनका प्रीलिम्स निकला है अभी, उनको टाइम नहीं होगा, सांस लेने का फुर्सत नहीं होगा इस वक्त. सिलेबस ही कंप्लीट नहीं है. आंसर राइटिंग कब करोगे? यू गेटिंग माई पॉइंट? देन वर्किंग इन द कंफर्ट जोन, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. वर्किंग इन द कंफर्ट जोन. हमेशा कंफर्ट जोन में काम करते हो. यू हैव टू गो बियॉन्ड द कंफर्ट जोन. वेल, अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस, फोकस ऑन प्रोसेस एंड स्ट्रेटजी. ऑलवेज मैंने कहा प्रोसेस स्ट्रेटजी इंपॉर्टेंट है. बेबी स्टेप, स्मॉल गोल्स, कंसिस्टेंसी इज द की. सुनने में अच्छा लगता है. कंसिस्टेंसी, हार्ड वर्क, पेशेंस, परसिवरेंस, डिसिप्लिन, डेडिकेशन, मोटिवेशन. मुझे भी बोलने में मजा आता है. द की इज इन एग्जीक्यूशन. ठीक है. इट इज, यू नो, the magic in the preparation is that when you are able to meet your daily target, the magic of the preparation is that when you are able to sustain the journey, the magic of the preparation is when you feel from inside that things are working. That is the magic you are looking at. और कोई magic नहीं है. And in this magic, till the time you start feeling the magic, you'll have days when it will be good. ऐसा दिन होगा कि life कैसा हो गया. I'll just maybe 2 more minutes, then I will take doubts also. Okay, Vanshika, Shweta, everybody, just stay here for 2 more minutes. Okay? take a mentor, find a mentor. I personally believe that this is a very important part, because UPSC has become so dynamic and complex that if you don't have a right mentor, you know, it will, maybe you have to repeat things, maybe you will make a mistake. Okay, so coaching help, well, we are facilitators, effort आपका रहेगा, हम लोग facilitators हैं. No coaching can take you to rank 1. We only help you to teach a topic, maybe give you perspective. I will tell you what to do, my team will tell you, teachers will tell you, आपको effort करना होगा. And you know from inside whether you're putting effort or not. Coaching will help you in the structured learning. They can help you basic doubts. Delhi, online, Delhi, both option is available. Okay, but I would say join a coaching, take advantage. Coaching का advantage लीजिए, पूरा अच्छे से लीजिए. Find, sit with a mentor, find time, ask yourself. There is a whole list of NCRTs that I have given. ये मैं आपको PDF share कर दूंगा class के बाद. I'll share it. Okay, so you can go through this book list also. I've made some strong book list. And then I'll take some doubts. Okay. Okay, so I'll take some doubts now. Just hold on.